We live in a challenging time. Scientists tell us that due to all the fossil fuels we've pulled out of the ground and put into the air, we are already damaging the vital systems of our planet. And that to avoid the most serious consequences, we have to change our ways of farming, manufacturing, and transportation within the decade. Did you know that agriculture accounts for an astounding 30% of the problem? But that's something we can fix. With regenerative farming methods, eating less or no meat, we can have an enormous impact. Transportation is another huge factor. Again, by changing our habits, we can have an impact. By taking mass transit instead of a car, switching to an electric vehicle, walk, bike, fly less or not at all. And forget cruise ships. 50 gallons of gas per mile? That's crazy. The news can be overwhelming. The antidote is action. More greenhouse gases in the air means that our world is heating up. As sunlight is trapped, the oceans are warming too. Melting ice caps, sea level rise, stronger storms, bigger fires, pollution. It's a lot to take in. Some people turn away and try to ignore the situation. They get lost in social media, play some video games, or shop for fun. Look familiar? You know how it is. But we have an opportunity to create a whole new civilization that works with, not against nature. And we already know many ways to halt climate change. But we don't have a lot of time. We need to get going and fast. And we all need to be co-creators of the sustainable, pollution-free world. What can you do to make that happen? Well, it turns out a lot. Instead of shopping for happiness, you can make every purchase a vote for a better world. Ask your family and friends to help you. Have you heard of Greta Thunberg? A 15-year-old girl in Sweden with a cardboard sign, Strike for Climate, inspired an international movement called Fridays for Future.
My name is Greta Thunberg, and I'm inviting you to be a part of the solution. 5 years ago, world leaders signed the Paris Agreement, and they promised to keep the global average temperature rise to well below 2 degrees Celsius and to pursue 1.5 degrees to safeguard future living conditions. Since then, a lot has happened. But the action needed is still nowhere in sight. The gap between what we need to do and what is actually being done is widening by the minute. We are still speeding in the wrong direction. The 5 years following the Paris Agreement have been the 5 hottest years ever recorded. But I'm telling you, there is hope. Because the people have not yet been made aware. We cannot solve a crisis without treating it as a crisis. Nor can we treat something like a crisis unless we understand the emergency. So let's make this our main priority. Let's unite and spread awareness. Once we become aware, then we can act. Then change will come. This is the solution. We are the hope. We, the people.
We, the people. It's up to us to get informed, to take action. Each of you has a role to play. It's up to you to decide what that is. Get creative and take care of yourself. If you are healthy physically, emotionally, you can do a lot more. And don't get distracted by advertising. Separate wants from needs. Say you want to buy new clothes, but do you actually need a new wardrobe? Or do you just want a new pair of shoes, socks, a winter coat? Those things are need. But if you feel that your stuff is out of fashion, you've been taken in by an enormous profit-driven machine that is recruiting you to keep it going. Since you were small, advertising has been telling you that you can buy happiness, that to be cool, you have to keep up with the latest trend. We all want to be cool. There's a kind of buzz when you go shopping. It's a momentary pleasure, but how long does that shopping buzz last? A day, 3 days, maybe a week? And then you might toss it or give it away. Want some new things, get a new look. Did you know that fashion is among the largest polluters and that it uses so much energy to produce, transport, clean, and dispose of our clothing? And that most synthetic fibers produce microfibers that pollute the ocean and harm the fish. Okay, so you avoid synthetics. Great step, but it's the quantity that you need to think about. Even a simple cotton t-shirt takes 700 gallons of water and lots of pesticides which damage the environment to produce. You have to wear clothes, of course, but buy quality things that last a long time. Keep what you have, and when you've outgrown it or want something else, if it's still good, take it to the thrift store and buy something new there. The organization that runs the store helps people in need, and the money you spend there goes to the needs of other people. Your purchase does good things. There's so much stuff already made, and we can reuse or repair a lot of things instead of making new ones. Our poor planet needs a rest. Another thing about clothing is how we dry our laundry. Now, the clothesline was a simple invention. How crazy is it that on a hot sunny day, when your favorite shirt could easily dry in the sun, instead you toss it in the dryer where it uses lots of energy? If you can, install a clothesline. Your clothes will last longer and they will smell wonderful. Our beautiful planet has given us so much. Take a breath and think of her every time you buy something. Do you really need that thing? Ask yourself, what does it cost the planet to produce that? Where will it go when I'm done with it? And cosmetics. Do you really want to put toluene, formaldehyde, and phthalates, endocrine disruptors on your body? Research the ingredients of what you're using. There are products that are safer for you and the environment. There are products that are not tested on animals because they use non-toxic ingredients. For that matter, why do you need makeup or nail polish or any of the products that advertising wants you to want? Health is the best beautifier there is. So go outside. Take a little time to look at the sky, to take in the beauty. You are all part of that. Let it sink into your body. Take a deep breath. And make an appointment to go outside and soak it all in every day. Did you ever see the movie The Graduate? It's an old one from when the problem was really starting to gain traction around 1967. Ben's uncle tells him he has one word for him to make his fortune. That word, plastics. Oh, those plastic containers. In every grocery store, in every pharmacy. Sure, some of it gets recycled, but that takes a lot of energy too. Instead, see if you can buy less plastic or buy things in paper packaging or glass. Better, bring your own containers. Maybe you can start a campaign for better packaging. Boycotts work. Let manufacturers know you won't buy again unless they package it better. And don't use single-use plastic bottles. Bring your water from home in a reusable cup. Stainless steel lasts a lifetime and it doesn't leach into what you're drinking. We have to do things the way nature does them. Leaves return nutrients to the soil, but plastics were designed to defeat the natural process of decay and reuse. We invented this thing called garbage. Nature doesn't have landfills. She uses everything again and again. We think we can throw stuff away. Away where? There's only this planet. People used to dump everything in the ocean like it was a giant sewer. They still do. There's the Great Pacific Garbage Patch.
What weighs more than 43,000 cars and is over 2 times the size of Texas? The largest garbage dump on Earth, the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. Also known as the Pacific Trash Vortex, this collection of ocean-faring garbage weighs more than 87,000 tons and consists of 1.8 trillion pieces of plastic. Located in the eastern Pacific Ocean between the states of Hawaii and California, this garbage accumulation zone is actually one of 6 garbage concentrations throughout the world's oceans, formed from rotating ocean currents known as gyres. These gyres are systems of circular ocean currents formed by the Earth's wind patterns and forces from the rotation of the Earth. The other 5 garbage patches located in the North Atlantic, South Atlantic, Indian Ocean, West Pacific, and South Pacific are equally problematic. Because these garbage patches are so far from any one country's coastline, any one nation is unlikely to take on the responsibility of cleaning this garbage up on its own. It is estimated today that roughly 1.2 to 2.4 million tons of plastic is entering the ocean each year, which is the equivalent of 100,000 garbage trucks dumping their trash into the ocean. Most of this plastic is less dense than water, meaning that it will not sink once it encounters the sea. These plastics are then transported out to sea by converging ocean currents before finally accumulating in one of the garbage patches. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch covers an estimated surface area of roughly 1.6 million square kilometers, which, as mentioned before, equates to an area roughly 2 times the size of Texas. The latest sampling estimates that the patch contains 1.8 trillion pieces of plastic, or about 250 pieces for every human on Earth. The garbage patch contains a variety of plastics in all shapes and sizes, including plastic lighters, toothbrushes, water bottles, pens, baby bottles, cell phones, plastic bags, and more. Additionally, lost fishing nets and other fishing gear make up a substantial portion of the total plastic count, entangling and endangering whales, turtles, fish, and damaging coral reefs. Just this past year, during a 25-day cleanup expedition, roughly 40 tons of abandoned fishing nets were retrieved from the patch in an effort to safeguard marine life.
Not only are fishing nets part of the great garbage patches, but they're also killing dolphins and sharks as bycatch, destroying the food chain on which life depends. So we need to stop overfishing by eating sustainably, and that means eating fewer fish. Technology. It's changed the way we live, for better and for worse. Apple would love you to buy the newest iPhone every year, a slimmer laptop every 2 years. You must have a better camera, a better this, a better that. But where does it all go? At best, it gets recycled, but at what cost? This boy is recycling our technology. Every purchase is a vote for one system or another, so start voting wisely. Did you know that each of us in rich countries uses 10 to 40 times more resources than someone in a poor country? Why do we have poor countries? Because we don't know we have more than enough, because we produce the wrong things in the wrong way. For example, 50% of the fertile land on Earth is used to grow food, but 77% of that is for livestock, mostly cows. Think meat and dairy, and think again. What you eat changes the world. What you buy means that others will have food or not. Rather than feeding the starving people of the world, we're feeding cows. It takes 52 pounds of feed to make 1 pound of hamburger, 635 gallons of water, and 4 pounds of greenhouse gases for just 1 quarter pounder. The rainforest is a precious habitat for millions of species and animals. Each big tree there pulls huge amounts of carbon out of the air, puts it in the ground safely. We know this, but 200,000 acres of rainforest are burned every day. Why? Mostly to graze cattle and grow their feed. If everyone stopped eating red meat and dairy, global farmland could be reduced by 75%, an area equivalent to the size of the United States, China, Australia, and Europe combined. We've already lost 60% of the wildlife on the planet because of our activity. If we want to save the rest and let nature flourish again, we need to give back some of that land to share our planet, because everything has a role to play in the intricate webs that make up life on Earth. Love those burgers? Well, try new ones. The veggie burger has come a long way. You can taper off, and you know what? You'll have a better life. We need protein, but did you know that most Americans are getting way too much? That you can get all the protein you need from a good vegetarian diet? Again, needs and wants. And our diet of heavy meat is making us sick. Heart disease, cancer, diabetes. So the next big thing you can do is learn to cook. Nature's incredible bounty, spices, sauces, herbs, colors, quinoa. A couple of years ago, I won a vegan cooking contest. My quinoa kale with basil and pecans was the overwhelming favorite. It was, I have to say, delicious and fun to make. It's like painting with vegetables, yellow, bright green, red, and those colors are good for us. They each have special properties. Do some research. What do the deep reds and oranges foods contain? Eat the rainbow. The more color, the better. It's true. Mother Nature wants you to eat your veggies. In Indonesia, 3/4 of the rainforest has disappeared to plant one monoculture, palm oil. That forest was home to the orangutan and countless others. Aren't they beautiful? So there's another thing you can do. Again, check out the ingredients. Palm oil? Don't buy it. Or better, let the company know that you won't buy it because it's destroying the home of the orangutan. Be creative. Send a picture. We're all human. Who wouldn't want to save this guy? So what can you do? Consume less, use your buying power for good, and learn about the world or advocate for sustainability, green energy, less pollution, and have fewer children. Our poor planet can only support so many of us. We need the next generation, but in smaller numbers. Want to know a secret? Happiness is creative. It comes from you, not from the outside. And the more you share it, the more you have. You don't have to buy a thing beyond your basic needs. And don't get on the consumer treadmill. If you want to help save the earth, ignore the pressure to get the latest device, the coolest new fashion, that cute little stuff you don't actually need. And don't let advertising convince you to buy, because we live on a planet that has limits and we've reached them. Think in sustainable patterns and cycles. Get rid of the whole concept of garbage. It's garbage. Nothing disappears. It goes somewhere. It pollutes the water, the air, the very soil that feeds us. Nature is beautiful and her systems work. She reuses and repurposes everything. We need to do the same. Check out biomimicry. This can be a frightening time. The news can make you very sad, or you can wake up and do what you need to do. It can be the beginning of a better future for everyone. This generation can create a whole new civilization, one that can ensure that all the people in the world have what they need. We can get rid of pollution and that purely human invention garbage. We have to transition to clean energy and protect life on Earth. We can have an amazing future. It's in our hands.